checking out this video on the Mission Church's website. The title of this series and these short videos is Reclining at Table with Jesus. We're currently preaching through John's Gospel, and I've noticed as we've gone through John's Gospel that there are two men that are stated to sit and recline at table with Jesus. They're men who want to sit with him, enjoy his company, eat with him, and just be with him. And I invite you on these short videos to come, to sit, to stop, be still, spend time with Jesus, and let him feed you with bread from heaven, that you may taste and see that he is truly good. So please come with me and recline at table with Jesus. The two men that we see in John's Gospel who recline at table with Jesus, there's one in chapter 12 called Lazarus. Jesus just raised him from the dead. And in chapter 12 verse 2 it says that they hold a meal for Jesus. They invite Jesus over with the disciples for food. And it says Martha is serving, but Lazarus is reclining at the table with Jesus. The second man comes in chapter 13, and it's the Passover, the Last Supper, and Jesus is with his disciples. And in verse 23 it says the disciple that Jesus loved is reclining close to Jesus. So both these men, Lazarus and John, take time out to be near Jesus. They want to be near him and with him and enjoy his company, but also to enjoy the food, the teaching that he has to give them. So I hope these short videos may not be a 3-course meal, but they will be at least side orders of garlic bread or garlic mushrooms, and you can enjoy some little tastes of heaven that I have experienced and what the Lord has spoken on me that I would like to share with you. But the one thing I see about these two men that I would like to communicate now to you about reclining at table with Jesus is that we don't recline with Jesus because our love for him is great, but we recline at table with Jesus is because his love for us is great. Our love for Jesus will often go up and down, and it will wane to and fro, but Jesus' love for us is solid and consistent, and it abounds. Jesus' love for us is so wide and deep and high and long, and I want you to experience that love, and that love motivates you to come and sit and be with Jesus and let him feed you with bread from heaven. I pray that these will be times where he'll make you lie down in green pastures. So in chapter 11, 3 times we are told that Jesus loves Lazarus. Even though he gets ill, he dies, Jesus raises him from the dead. We see it's Jesus' love for him that drives Lazarus to want to recline at table with him. In verse 3, we see the sisters Mary and Martha sending a message to Jesus to say, "He whom you love is ill." The sisters knew that Jesus loved Lazarus. I have no doubt Lazarus loved Jesus, and we should love Jesus. But the sisters knew that Lazarus was loved deeply by Jesus. Then John the Apostle in verse 5 of chapter 11 says, Jesus loved the sisters, Martha and Mary, and Lazarus. And then Jesus goes to Mary's house, sees her weeping, sees the Jews weep. In verse 35, he weeps. But then in verse 36, the Jews say, see how much Jesus loved Lazarus. So the 3 groups of people in chapter 11 all know that Jesus loves Lazarus. We got the sisters in verse 3, we got John the Apostle in verse 5, and we got the Jews in verse 36. All knowing not that Lazarus loves Jesus, again, which I'm sure he does, but that Jesus loves him. And because Lazarus knows that Jesus loves him deeply, he is happy to invite him into his house, to sit with him, recline with him, and enjoy a meal with him. And it goes the same in chapter 13. In verse 23, the Last Supper, it says the disciple that Jesus loved was reclining at table with him. Every time this disciple is mentioned in John's Gospel, and most people think he is John the writer, he doesn't mention his name, and he only mentions the fact that he was the disciple that Jesus loved. So both Lazarus and John were deeply loved by Jesus, and because they were loved by Jesus, they went and spent time with Jesus. And I pray that you would know how vast Christ's love is for you, and that love will compel you to enjoy sitting with Jesus. I know the love of Christ will compel us to service, but the love of Christ compels us to sit, to be still, and to enjoy knowing Jesus. So there's a verse in Revelation 3 verse 20, which John the Apostle writes to the church in Laodicea. It says, Jesus says, I stand at the door and I knock. And anybody who hears my voice and opens up, I will come in and I will eat and I will drink with them. Jesus wants to recline with you. Do you hear his voice? Will you open up the door and will you allow him in? Will you sit with Jesus? Will you recline with Jesus? And will you eat from Jesus? And I pray that these little short videos will be some food from heaven for you, where you can sit and recline at table with Jesus and enjoy him. So may the Lord bless you and keep you. And I pray you'd have a great day. Thank you.